over 24 people marched here to the Morgan County Jail today to watch protesters surrender themselves to Decatur police following recent charges following that last week's protest. Now, so far, sheriff officials say 5 people have surrendered to the Morgan County Jail. They're facing charges after stepping up their protests following the officer-involved shooting death of Steve Perkins just 25 days ago. Police said the protest on the 19th was an intentional obstruction of traffic that caused a hazardous situation. Rodney Gordon, president of the Morgan County NAACP, is one of those facing charges. He says going to jail is a small price to pay if it helps get justice for Steve Perkins.
It took you 4 days to pick us up. And it's been 24 days and you ain't arrested the man that killed that boy.
The protesters who have been contacted all face Class C misdemeanors. The bond was set at $300 each.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. And I gotta tell you, we've got a serious problem in this country. We cannot have a conversation with each other for some reason. It just does not seem like it is possible sometimes. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know it does very much seem like we can't have that conversation. Now, the situation involving Steve Perkins in Decatur, Alabama, is an important one. There's a lot of questions about the appropriateness of what the police did. There's a lot of questions about whether or not the body cam footage should be released right now before the investigation is done, or if it will ever be released. I got a problem with that. I think we should be able to change the law and say, okay, we're going to release it after the investigation is done. I think that's a completely appropriate thing to do so people know what's going on and they get a full story. Unfortunately, in this state and country, everything needs to be immediate. We have to see all the information before the investigation takes place. And then for some reason, yelling at people in the street is the way that we get there. I don't understand that. So I wanted to talk with some of the players involved with this situation. And Rodney Gordon, the head of the Morgan County NAACP, agreed to come on my radio show on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham, and we had a pretty contentious conversation. It did not have to go the way it did. It was a mess. It's embarrassing for him. But I want you to listen to this and understand what I was trying to do here. I knew he was lying about his car breaking down. He knew he was lying about his car breaking down. It's a stupid thing to say. So I said to him, let's talk about integrity and make sure we're all being honest with each other. And he could not let that go. Now, what he doesn't know is that I was trying to get on with him to have a conversation about working together to try to change the state's body cam laws. But he was so mad that I was calling him out for clearly lying that he couldn't see past that, as you'll see here in this interview that took place Thursday on Talk 99.5. Decatur, Alabama has seen a police-involved shooting involving an individual, Steve Perkins. He was in the process of having his vehicle repossessed. He walked outside, allegedly threatened a tow truck driver with a firearm. That tow truck driver left the scene and then returned with police officers. Now, there's a couple of questions here that I think are at the crux of this. Did he call 911 or did he call someone he knew on the police force? That issue has not been resolved yet, but I think I know the answer to that, and I think he called someone he knew, and then they called into dispatch and said, hey, we're going to do this. I think that's probably what happened here. And so there'll be some questions about that policy as well. When police showed up on the scene, and outwalk Steve Perkins again, there is an allegation that Steve Perkins pointed a firearm at one of the police officers and they shot him. In the process, before they shot him, they said, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. Now they originally said, put down the gun, put down the gun, put down the gun. So there's some conflict there. Police don't look good in this situation. I'll tell you that much right now. Truthfully, and from all the attorneys I've spoken to, none of this really matters. If on the video he is pointing a gun at police officers, inadvertently or advertently, this is going to be considered to be a good shoot, and that's going to be a problem for the city of Decatur. I can tell you that right now. I promise you that. One of those people who is involved in that problem is Rodney Gordon. He is the head of the Morgan County NAACP. He was recently arrested on a bridge for a protest So before I bring him on here and talk to him in depth about this, Mr. Gordon, my laying out of the events, well, you may not agree with some of the conclusions there. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay, all right, good. So let me ask you a question here. How important is integrity to you?
Well, that's, as a police officer, that's it.
No.
That's
Just as a human being. As a human being, how important is integrity to you?
Well, integrity is a standard. That's the standard,
Okay.
baby. That's,
All right.
that's what the boss are.
I'm glad you said that. So you were arrested on US 31 on a bridge. You weren't arrested there, excuse me. You had to turn yourself in after they issued a summons for your arrest after you engaged in a protest on a bridge. You claimed in the reporting here that no, there was no protest. You see, my car broke down, and I got out of the vehicle, and people said, "Is that is that who I think it is? Is that the head of the NAACP? Is that Rodney Gordon?" And then they started protesting, and it wasn't actually a protest. Can we just acknowledge before we get started here? Hold on. Can we acknowledge before we get started here that we're going to respect each other in this conversation, and you acknowledge that is bullcrap, and you meant to protest there?
Hey, okay. Now you through talking? Let me say this. Let me tell you something. Those are, first of all, white people have had tactics like this since we've been born. Those are Jim Crow tactics. Jim Crow intelligence. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you call yourself trying to do, but it ain't gonna work with me because I ain't the one to play with. You understand I mean? White folks have told lies for years.
I don't understand.
All our life, just like you trying to be Mr. right now. Here you go. Now you playing these Jim Crow. You playing
Mr.
Jim
President.
Crow you feel
Mr.
me?
Gordon.
Is this integrity? Be quiet, man.
Rodney, I don't know what you mean, so let's back up for a second.
Now here you is a radio personality, and you're going to tell me you ain't aware of Jim Crow tactics. Really, man?
No. I'm aware of Jim Crow. I know what that is.
Let's talk about integrity.
Well, hold on.
You understand me? Let's talk about integrity.
Let's talk about integrity here for a second. So can we acknowledge that you did, in fact, plan this protest and that you did not accidentally break down on the road to protesters?
Can we acknowledge that? What you think about it? What you think about the police? Do you think they was wrong?
Well, I think I just
publicly they was wrong.
I think I just told you.
Will you say publicly that they didn't follow protocol?
Rodney,
and all they had to do was knock on the door, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Rodney, I'm the radio host, and I'll repeat myself 9 times. You don't have to do it. So just listen.
You called me to interview me. I didn't call you. Let me tell you something. See, there you go with them white man tricks again. You think you in control. You think you running America. You think you in charge of me because I'm black, I guess. You can tell me what I interviewed you.
You're the president. You are the president of the Morgan County NAACP. I don't think I'm in charge of you. I want to ask you a serious question. Hold on. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question.
I interviewed you. In other words, this is my radio station.
Hey,
you don't
that's
ask
great.
Me questions, I ask you questions. The devil is a lie.
Okay. This is fantastic stuff here, and I do appreciate you doing it on the radio. But what I would like to do is actually answer your question, because I feel like by answering your question, maybe you'll answer mine. So I will answer your question. If the police officers did not follow protocol, that's going to be a problem. If the police officers shot a man and the gun was not pointed at them, that is going to be a problem, and they should be fully punished for doing so. I agree with you that we should. I agree with you.
Have you seen the film?
Hold on, Rodney.
Have you seen the film?
Rodney, I'm getting to that. I have not, and I'm trying to explain this to you. I believe the video should be released. I also believe the video will be released. And I think there should be, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, if we could get past the part where you're trying to BS me.
I'm going to send you the door cam video. I don't need the body cam. I got a door video. The door video says and does everything.
I've seen the door video. I've seen it. I just asked
you why you seen the film, and you said no. So see, now you talking about integrity. You lying.
Well,
I asked
that's
you
interesting.
If you seen the video, you said no.
I'm talking about the body cam footage.
I haven't seen the video.
I'm talking about the body cam footage, and I understand what you're trying to do here.
I
understand what you're trying to do here. I understand what you're trying to do here, and with all due respect,
I understand what you're trying to do here. You feel me?
With all due respect,
that's why you sent a black man to get me to set up the interview. See, why you didn't inbox
what
me?
Black man did I say? What black man did I say? What black man?
Dale somebody. I don't know who it was.
Dale Jackson?
You look like a black man to me.
Dale Jackson?
Whoever it was.
Yeah, that guy's notoriously black. That is the blackest human being I've ever met in my entire life. He's also myself, who is not black at all. Why are you saying that? Do you understand how ridiculous this sounds?
Because
Rodney,
Rodney, you come with them old Jim,
my friend, Mr. Gordon, Mr. President,
come on, man.
Rodney,
you sound like George Wallace, man.
Rodney.
Is your name George Wallace, your uncle?
No, you know my name's Dale Jackson. You just thought I was a black guy. But my point is this, Rodney, you have every opportunity in the world here to voice this opinion, and I want to hear it.
No, I don't. Hey,
I want to hear it, but you, for some reason, you are incapable of listening.
You thought you had a fool to talk to. That's what it is. And you,
no.
I don't know who
I do have a fool to talk to. This is not a good moment for you, because what you're doing here is you're making yourself seem irrational. You're making yourself seem irrational. Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion, and I really respect it.
Yeah.
But you're making yourself sound. Hold on. Rodney.
I got bigger fish to fry, man.
Hey, I appreciate everything you're trying to do here. It's not working very well, but I do appreciate it. And what I would like to know is why you didn't just say, hey, I'm here protesting because I want that body cam released. And it should be released already. We need to see it. This investigation needs to speed up. And I did civil disobedience, which means, of course, you're going to be arrested when you conduct civil disobedience. That's literally the point. So how come you just can't tell the truth? Why did you try to lie and make yourself look silly by saying, oh, my car just broke down? We all know your car didn't break down. Why are you saying that? Did he hang up?
Yes, he's gone.
Oh, my God. Why? I even called him Mr. President repeatedly. John, I got to believe that much like his car, his phone may have died. So give him a ring and see if we can get him back on the program.
I'm on it.
We'll see if we can get him back on. Look, I thought it might go this way. Okay? I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Okay? I thought it might go this way. However, it was not my intent. Okay, my intent was to say, look, why don't you just say that you wanted to do a protest here and you have a valid reason for wanting to protest? No, you shouldn't do it that way because obviously you're going to be arrested for it, but lying just makes you look silly. So let's back up here for a second. I think Decatur has a serious problem right now. They have a serious problem because this video is lingering out there and has not been released. There is body cam or ring doorbell cameras and stuff like that. Yes, that's true. But you can't see anything. And as I was going to try to tell him, all you see is a bunch of blurs moving around. You can't really tell anything. The body cam is going to let people know exactly what's going on in this situation.
Dale, I need to let you know that I did call him back, and he had some choice words for me. And he said if I call back again, he's going to have me arrested. So,
well, just let him know that it was an accident that your phone called him. You weren't actually trying to call him. It was an accident because that happened. I don't know. And I don't know why he thought that I sent a black guy to get him on the air. I guess because
do I sound black?
No. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about my logo.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. But that doesn't even make any sense either. Because the thing I messaged him with was my personal Facebook, and that's got a picture of me and Grant jumping on a trampoline. And, you know, I mean, I could see why he would think Grant might be a person of color. He is somewhat Korean a little bit. But me, again, notoriously white. So there was no misleading attempt here. And what I wanted to know is what happens when this video gets released and it shows him pointing the gun at these guys. What happens if that's the case? And I couldn't get to that because I wanted to lay the groundwork that we have to be honest with each other if we're going to have these conversations. And he lied to the media, and they went along with it because they're dopes, right? Like, they're not going to question him. No, I mean, I shouldn't be the only person who's going to question this guy like this, okay? So they're never going to question and say, well, hold on, what about this? They're not interested in that. But I wanted to know what the next step is if he does, in fact, point at the police officers. Because I'm guessing, and I think I've said this before, but my guess is this guy walked out of his house with a gun in his hand in order to chase off the tow truck driver again. He did it once, and now the tow truck driver was back that same morning. It was early in the morning. And when police came out and said, get on the ground, police. I'm guessing the individual, Mr. Perkins, turned towards police. He had a gun in his hand. As he turned towards police, the gun turned as well. I'm guessing that's what happened here. And I just wanted to know, what was the Morgan County NAACP going to do if that was true? Because I was going to give him some advice. The real issue here, and I don't know if this is out there anywhere, but the real issue here is I think that tow truck driver called the cops on his cell phone and asked them for their help while they were on duty to move his truck. And I don't know if that's within policy or legal or anything. There's a lot of questions about that. And I think that's the more fruitful avenue to go down. Should cops show up at the scene if someone brandishes a gun at someone trying to repossess a truck? Absolutely they should. Should they help that person repossess the truck? No. They should not. Okay, that is wrong. And after Perkins was shot, they hooked up and took the truck. And I just think that that's crazy. And if Rodney Gordon would listen to me, I think we're in more agreement than he thinks we are. But I don't know if it's fair to say, but let me just say this. He's a racist. Okay? He's a racist. He's telling us, and there's been a lot here that this guy is telling us right now. One, he wouldn't have come on the program if he knew it was a white guy. Whoever this Dale Jackson guy is. He never would have come on the program. Two, he was mad that he came on the program with a white person. Three, he called me George Wallace, which, oh man, I just I don't really know how to feel about that. But he, it's very weird because I haven't done anything to this guy. I just wanted to have a conversation with him. So there will be people who say, well, Dale Jackson's being a bad actor here. He got him on the program and immediately started saying, how come you don't have any integrity? And yes, that is exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did, and I did that intentionally. And if you know anything about my history, this is something I do regularly. When someone comes on my program who I know has lied about something, I immediately get them by saying, hey, how important is integrity to you? Let's have a conversation where we're going to be honest with each other. Okay, tell the truth about this thing you just lied about. Now, is it the best interview technique? Probably not. Maybe not. But it just depends what you're going for. And what I was going for here is him to say, okay, yeah, fine, I was BSing. And then we can have a conversation about the rest of the stuff. But very unfortunate for Rodney Gordon and everyone else that this individual was not interested in having that conversation. Now, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I offer this up because I know you're going to post this online, John. And I want you to leave this part in, and not that you would take anything out. Mr. Gordon, Mr. President, I would like to try this again. We can skip the integrity part because I think we know the answer to that. But let's have a conversation about what's next for the community after we see this video. And would you like to work with me to change the rules on how we release body cam footage in this state? Because I can tell you this right now, I single-handedly ended the vaccine mandates for employers in this state. Single-handedly. And we can change this as well. Join me. That's where I was trying to go. Now, yes, that was a disaster. I mean, there's no other way for me to put it, but it didn't have to be that way. I keep pointing that out because it never has to be this way. We can try to be adults and have real conversations. And if Mr. President ever feels like having a conversation again about this and is able to keep cool about it, I think it'd be a pretty fruitful conversation. But when you lie, people are going to call you out. The mainstream media should be doing that in this state, and it doesn't happen. If they agree with you or they're sympathetic to your cause, they'll let you get away with lying. Rodney should know that we all know that his car did not break down on the bridge. It was a protest. They were shutting the bridge down. Everybody knows that. And pretending otherwise only casts credibility on everything else he says. That was my point. I wanted to get past that silliness and get into a serious conversation. He had no interest in that.